An exchange vanishes overnight, and so does its 27-year-old CEO, for hundreds of thousands of users. A normal day in April 2021 turned into a nightmare. Their screens went blank, their life savings were gone, and the man they had trusted with their future had simply disappeared. This is the story of Thodex, a name that once symbolized hope for many in Turkey, but would soon become synonymous with one of the biggest crypto heists in history. It's a tale of ambition, deception, and a manhunt that spanned continents, all culminating in a sentence so staggering it sounds like a myth. In the throes of a severe economic downturn, with the Turkish lira plummeting to record lows, ordinary citizens were desperately searching for a financial lifeboat. The traditional banking system felt unstable, and inflation was devouring their savings. Into this climate of fear and uncertainty stepped a charismatic 27-year-old high school dropout named Faruk Fatih Özer. He presented a modern-day solution: cryptocurrency. In 2017, he founded Thodex, a cryptocurrency exchange that promised not just to protect wealth, but to multiply it. It was a compelling pitch to a nation hungry for stability. Thodex wasn't just another faceless digital platform. It was a brand built around its founder. Özer cultivated an image of a tech prodigy, a self-made visionary who understood the future of finance. The company's marketing was aggressive and brilliantly targeted. Lavish campaigns featured famous Turkish models and celebrities, plastering Özer's confident face across billboards and television screens. They ran promotions that seemed too good to be true, offering luxury cars like Porsches to new users and selling popular cryptocurrencies like Dogecoin at a massive discount. To a public watching their traditional assets wither, these bold promises were intoxicating. The strategy worked spectacularly. Hundreds of thousands of Turkish citizens flocked to the platform, entrusting Thodex with their hard-earned money. At its peak, the exchange boasted nearly 400,000 active users and was handling hundreds of millions of dollars in daily trading volume. For many, Özer was not just a CEO. He was a savior, a young Turkish success story offering a digital lifeline in turbulent economic waters. They invested their retirement funds, their children's education savings, and the money they had set aside for a new home. They placed their blind trust in a system they barely understood, led by a man who promised them the world. But the digital empire they believed in was a house of cards, and its foundation was built on a lie. The collapse came without warning. On April 21, 2021, users trying to log into their Thodex accounts were met with a cryptic message. The site was down for a scheduled maintenance that would last for a few days. Initially, there was confusion, then growing anxiety. The company's social media channels went silent. Customer service lines were dead. As hours turned into days, panic began to set in. The maintenance window was a sham. The platform had been shut down, trapping the assets of its 391,000 users, and Faruk Fatih Özer was nowhere to be found. It soon emerged that Özer had fled Turkey 2 days before the platform went dark, flying from Istanbul to Albania. He hadn't just disappeared, he had taken everything with him. The scale of the theft was breathtaking. Initial reports estimated the stolen assets at around $2 billion, making it one of the largest centralized exchange frauds ever recorded. The man who had sold himself as a financial messiah was now an international fugitive, and the lives of his followers were shattered. The aftermath was a scene of utter devastation. People who had once dreamed of financial freedom were now facing ruin. Protests erupted outside the company's empty Istanbul offices, with crowds of desperate investors demanding answers, their faces etched with betrayal and despair. The Turkish government, facing a public outcry, moved swiftly. Arrest warrants were issued for Özer and dozens of Thodex employees. But the main prize, the Kingpin himself, was long gone. The international manhunt began. Interpol, the global policing organization, issued a red notice for Özer's arrest, flagging him as a high-priority fugitive wanted by an entire nation. For over a year, he remained a ghost. Theories swirled about his whereabouts, with investigators tracking leads across the Balkans and beyond. He had a fortune in untraceable cryptocurrency at his disposal, allowing him to live in the shadows, moving between safe houses and eluding capture. The chase finally came to an end in August 2022. acting on an international tip. Albanian police located and arrested Özer in the coastal city of Vlorë. His time on the run was over. Extradited back to Turkey, he was met not by cheering crowds, but by the cold reality of the justice system he had tried to escape. He, along with his sister, brother, and other senior Thodex executives, was put on trial in Istanbul. The prosecution laid out a damning case, detailing a meticulously planned scheme of aggravated fraud, money laundering, and the establishment of a criminal organization. During the trial, Özer remained defiant. He insisted that Thodex was simply a legitimate company that had gone bankrupt and that he had no criminal intent. He claimed the $2 billion figure was wildly exaggerated, arguing the actual losses were closer to $30 million. But the court was not convinced. The evidence painted a clear picture of a deliberate and calculated deception, a classic Ponzi scheme dressed in the modern clothes of cryptocurrency. The victims weren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, were real people whose trust had been exploited for personal gain. In September 2023, the verdict was delivered. It was a sentence of almost biblical proportions. Faruk Fatih Özer and two of his siblings were each sentenced to 11,196 years, 10 months, and 15 days in prison. While largely symbolic under Turkish law, the staggering length of the sentence was a powerful statement. It reflected the immense scale of the crime and the depth of the betrayal felt by an entire country. The court also imposed a fine of 135 million liras, a fraction of what was stolen, but a final mark of his guilt. The story of Thodex and its fallen kingpin is more than just a tale of a crypto scam. It's a profound cautionary tale about the nature of trust in a time of crisis. When traditional institutions fail and the future feels uncertain, people become vulnerable. They look for heroes, for saviors, for anyone offering a simple solution to complex problems. Faruk Fatih Özer understood this desperation and masterfully exploited it. He sold a dream of digital gold, but delivered a nightmare of financial ruin. The fallout serves as a stark reminder that in the volatile and often unregulated world of cryptocurrency, the line between visionary and villain can be terrifyingly thin. It's a story of blind trust and the devastating price paid when that trust is placed in the hands of a kingpin with a kingdom to steal.